Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for today's Facebook Live. My name is Wendy Myers of MyersDetox.com. And today I have some really interesting topics to talk to you about. I'm going to be talking about infections like Cryptosporidias, Candida, and Lyme, why they're on the rise, what's causing this, why our immune systems are failing us, and what you can do to protect yourself. And I do these Facebook Lives every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. I love for you guys to join me and join in this conversation that we're having about your health and how to detox your body and all the other things that I'm really passionate about talking about. So I want you to ask me any question that you have. If it's just something pops in your mind while I am giving my little lecture here, please don't hesitate to leave a comment and ask me your questions, and I will answer it live. You can also ask me any questions you have about detoxification, about supplementation, infrared saunas, coffee enemas, any kind of detox protocol or supplement. Feel free to leave a comment and ask me a question. So I want to talk about infections like crypto, is what it's called. It's really interesting. The CDC issued a warning on fecal parasite that can live in pools for up to 7 days. And I want to talk about what this means for your health, why other types of infections are on the rise, like Candida and Lyme-like infections, and why our immune systems are failing us and what's causing this, and my top 10 tips to strengthen your immune system naturally and what you can do. So the CDC has issued this warning about fecal parasite that's living in pools. And I know so many of you guys are swimming this summer or taking your children to go swimming. And I just took my daughter Winter to Maui. We went for about 11 days and stayed at a resort that had a pool, and there were millions of kids swimming and, hundreds of adults. It was just this crazy pool system and water park that they had. And essentially I was concerned, because I've read about this cryptoparasite before, and I was just concerned about, even though there's chlorine and other measures that are taken to kill parasites and infections in the pool, the chlorine doesn't always work, because this fecal parasite has become immune to chlorine. So it can live in pools for up to 7 days. And the number of cases of crypto have increased by 12.8% per year over the last 7-8 years or so. So it's becoming more and more common. And some of these symptoms, the Cryptosporidium symptoms, are diarrhea. You can have cramps, you can have nausea, you can have vomiting, you can have fever. So if you're having any of these types of symptoms, obviously don't go swimming in pools, or if you do have these symptoms, you might want to consider about whether you have perhaps swam in a pool recently. And if you do go swimming, make sure you shower after swimming and wash all the chlorine obviously off, and wash any potential bacteria or infections that you have off of your body. And so I want to talk about why other types of infections are on the rise. Infections like Candida, Lyme is definitely on the rise, and Lyme-like infections that can attempt to hide from the immune system and evade detection by the immune system and eradication. And one of the reasons that these infections are on the rise is because of heavy metals. Heavy metals play a huge role in inhibiting our immune system functioning. I firmly believe that, in addition to bad diets and stress and other things, metals are playing a huge role in inhibiting our immune system functioning in 3 different ways. So some of the metals that inhibit your immune system functioning are mercury. Another one is arsenic. Lead plays a big role, and cadmium. And so mercury is something we're getting from mercury amalgam fillings from fish, and it's in 400 different medications. It can be in flu shots. Arsenic can be had from conventional chickens and eggs, from rice, conventional and organic. It can also be had in some wines. They can use arsenic-based pesticides in some of the wines. And also lead. Lead is pretty much everyone has lead. It's impossible to avoid. because so many people live in houses that have lead-based paint, and therefore they have lead dust. And then people also, just unfortunately from using lead-based gasoline, that lead that was used for decades and is still in use in many countries gets into our air. It settles into our soils where it still persists, and it gets into our food and our food-based supplements. So lead is in everyone's bones. That's where the body tends to store it. And everyone has lead. It's absolutely impossible to not have lead in your bones, in your body, in your food, and in food-based supplements. Impossible to avoid. So it's just a fact of modern life. It's a reality. And then cadmium is also something that's incredibly largely prevalent that I see in most of the clients that I test, because cadmium is released just like mercury into the air from coal burning. And so any kind of large migratory fish, shellfish, and gasoline burning, manufacturing, anything that's using petroleum will release cadmium into the air and into the oceans, that then gets into our food supply in our ocean fish. So cadmium, very, very prevalent also in the air as well. And so these metals inhibit your immune system function in 3 different ways. So metals inhibit the function of macrophages. These are, important cells of the immune system that are formed in response to an infection or accumulating damaged or dead cells. And so there's a very large, specialized cells that recognize, engulf, and destroy target cells. Number 2, neutrophils function are negatively affected by metals. These are the first responders when the body's invaded by bacteria or virus or other organisms, and they're guided by chemical signaling, and they travel to the area of infection and attack. And neutrophils contain these tiny compartments called granules, in which they store toxic chemicals that act as their weapons against microorganisms. And these substances are effective at killing bacteria and viruses, but they also contribute to inflammation with swelling, redness, and often pain. That can be that response you're getting after you've had surgery or you have an injury. The neutrophils are kind of causing that inflammation and pain there. But if you look at a live blood cell analysis of people who are sick with heavy metals, you'll see that their neutrophils are sluggish. They don't want to find a meal. The same thing can happen in cancer patients that are taking chemo and cancer drugs. Their immune system can be largely suppressed, and the neutrophils don't work as well as they should. They're tired, they're being interfered with, inhibited, they're not working properly. And number 3, metals impair and inhibit natural killer cells. Most of our white blood cells are called natural killer cells or NK cells because they're specialized to kill certain types of disease cells, especially cells that have become infected with viruses and cells that have become cancerous. And so as you can see, if you have, mercury or lead or arsenic or cadmium, many people have all of the above. These impair our immune system functioning. And then add to that, when we have low energy bodies, when we have metals that interfere in our energy production, that poison mitochondrial functioning, which make our body's energy, and our immune systems aren't working well, we are sitting ducks for infections, for these opportunistic infections like Candida, like parasites, like Lyme, and Lyme-like infections like Borrelia or other ones. And so, and then when we have Candida and parasites and other infections, these can have excretions like called parasite poop or mycotoxins, and these can be very, very taxing, these excretions, on some people's delicate systems. And these toxins, these mycotoxins, can stuff up all of our detox pathways and your lymph. They tax your liver, which has to break them down or remove them. So as long as your body is dealing with all these different infections, your ability to detox heavy metals has been compromised, because these heavy metals are broken down by this and removed by the same pathways as Candida and other toxins. So you may have been building up these heavy metals, which are potent metabolic, hormonal, and mitochondrial poisons in your system because they have very few escape routes. So, it's just, if you're, watching the news, or you're really kind of in tune to what's going on in the world of health, you will see that there have been a rise of infections. There are so many different cases of Lyme. Parasitic infections are on the rise, and so many doctors I've talked to have told me they just have seen so many different types of infections, so many illnesses they never even saw in the 80s or 90s today. And they feel like it's largely due to our toxic environment and how this suppresses the immune system. And then that causes its own whole host of issues. And so it just really brings home the point that, you have to have a healthy working immune system in order to prevent cancer. You have to have a robust immune system to prevent opportunistic infections like Candida and parasites. And it's just one of the foundations of health. So I want to give you some of my top 10 tips to strengthen your immune system naturally, and also talk about why and how you need to detox these metals as well. So these are my top 10 immune system boosters. Number one, you need to eat fresh animal fats from meat and dairy, and cholesterol-rich foods, particularly raw and runny egg yolks. So runny egg yolks are one of the only sources of choline in the diet, and not to mention just really, really healthy fats that help to fortify your immune system and help to make hormones and other things. Then we also want to eat cold pressed oils like olive oil, nut and seed oils, and fish oils as well. Very, very important. And you also want to eat some top detox foods like broccoli sprouts, onion, and garlic. These have a lot of sulfur in them, which help your immune system, also help you detox as well. If you also want to have regular consumption of greens and herbs like parsley, dill, and coriander, or cilantro, and arugula, spinach, different kinds of lettuces as well. Really, really important to eat lots of those for minerals and magnesium and calcium and other things. And then you also want to eat probiotics and fermented foods. Fermented foods are more effective than probiotics because they have far, far more numbers of probiotics and different species of probiotics. So they're the better option. And these really help to improve your gut functioning, which is the seat of your immune system. The majority of your immune system lies in your gut. So we want to have a really, really healthy gut flora and fauna. And then also contact with animals and horses and dogs, etc. And having a pet in the family does a lot for people's immune system. So some parents today really think, this is my ex-husband included in this, really think of, want to protect your child from bacteria, protect them from playing in the dirt and washing their hands, and just, really taking a lot of precautions against bacteria and using antibacterial soap and doing all these things to, protect yourself. But the reality is that our immune system requires training. It requires stimulation, especially before the age of 7 years old. That's why, children in Africa, there's been studies that show they have these incredibly robust immune systems because of their exposure to animals and playing in the dirt and really not living in a sterile environment whatsoever. So there's pros and cons to both sides of that argument, but I'm definitely more in favor of training your immune system and not being so obsessive about bacteria. Our bodies are meant to handle bacteria. Our bodies are trained to deal with viruses. We are not, however, very good at dealing with chemicals, the chemicals in hand soaps and the chemicals in triclosan and all in the perfumes and all the other things that are in these like antibacterial products that I think are really, really harmful to people's health when they're trying to do something healthy for their health. So you want stimulation. So being around animals and on farms, that's a great way to do that. And swimming in unpolluted natural waters like lakes and rivers and the ocean. I love going to the ocean. I just was swimming and snorkeling in Maui I just got back from vacation, have a little bit of a tan going. But yeah, I love swimming in the ocean, just also for the minerals and the magnesium and the grounding and the negative ions. And all of that helps to stimulate your immune system. And also just physical activity and fresh air. I used to go to the gym all the time, and I kind of stopped doing that. The air is just so stuffy, and they clean it with ammonia because, at least in California, they're required by law to clean everything with ammonia and bleach. And I just felt like I just wasn't getting enough fresh air. So I prefer to work out outside now, and definitely go walking. I went on an 1.5-hour walk this morning in the sunshine without any sunscreen. And just so important that all that's immune boosting. And the last one, number 10, is exposure to sunlight and sensible sunbathing. We want to get sun exposure, but not so much that we are getting burned, because that will damage the skin. And really, really bad burns lead to skin cancer and burning over and over and over. So we want to get just enough to make some vitamin D and to improve our health, charge up our mitochondria, get that natural stimulation in our eyes, the light in our eyes, to set our healthy circadian rhythms and get better sleep, but not so much to where we're burning. So I usually go on the sun for about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. And after that, I'll apply sunscreen because I'll start to burn otherwise. But you have to do what works for you as an individual. And so lastly, we have to improve our immune system function by removing toxins that interfere in its functioning. And so heavy metals, like I mentioned before, mercury, arsenic, lead, cadmium are big contributing factors to that. So my passion and my goal is to help educate people about the importance of detoxification and how that can dramatically improve your health, dramatically improve your life. And so I created the Myers Detox Protocol, and I just created this course. It's a course that goes into your healthy diet, the right diet you should be eating for detoxification, good lifestyle habits like sleeping and grounding and sleep, optimizing sleep as much as possible, and the type of exercise you should be doing to maximize detoxification. I also go into all the detox protocols you should be doing. And we really have had an amazing response, amazing testimonials. Some people are, they're sleeping better, they have more energy, they have better mental clarity. Some participants lose on average 12 pounds doing this 30-day challenge. And so I encourage you to join our summer detox camp. We're doing a 30-day challenge to help you guys, detox over a 30-day period, but also take everything you'll learn in the Myers Detox Protocol course and use that for the rest of your life. You'll get lifetime access to this course and use all these tips and tricks in this massive video library to help you detox for the rest of your life. My daughter's here making a little cameo. Hi, Winter. This is my daughter, Winter.
Hi.
Yeah, thanks, honey. I'll talk in a few minutes, okay? I'm almost done in a few minutes. Okay. Oh, no. Well, I'll be done in a couple minutes, honey bunny. Okay, so one of our moderators, if you could post the link to the Myers Detox Protocol course, that would be great. I don't have it right now. So you guys, thanks so much for joining me. I'm going to answer some of your questions right now that you have. So the first one is, let's see. So Emma Allen, thanks so much for joining us. So how to poop twice a day? Yes, so that is a very, very good question and a very important one, because if you're not pooping, that detox pathway is not going to be open and optimal. So when you're kind of constipated or not going to the bathroom, a couple times a day, you're considered constipated, ironically. So people should be going to the bathroom 1 to 3 times a day. And for everyone, it's a little different. Some people are just super healthy going once a day. Ideally, most people should be going twice a day. If you're eating a ton of vegetables and fruits, you may be going 3 and even 4 times a day. So if your goal, Emma, is to poop twice a day, you can do various things. Number 1, eat a lot more fiber is the number 1 key. Eat at least 2 vegetables with every meal. And so that can be a little bit challenging for some people, but that's the key, lots of fiber. You also need tons of water. Most people are not drinking enough water. And many people are drinking enough water, but they're not retaining it because they're not properly mineralized. So you have to have minerals to hold on to water. So I really like this healthy salt product. Love, 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 love this. I put a pinch in every single glass of water that I have. I put it in tea, I put it in coffee, I put it in juice, anything that I'm drinking, because it kind of dissolves. So a little pinch, it doesn't make it taste salty. So I put this in all of my liquids. I don't put it on food. You can if you want, but I just put it in all the glasses of water and other liquids I'm drinking, because you have to have salt to retain water and to prevent it from releasing. And many people that have heavy metal toxicity, especially mercury, it interferes in anti-diuretic hormones. So people end up, because of mercury toxicity, don't retain enough water. And, you have to detox mercury to get rid of that side effect, but you also need to be adequately hydrated as well. I also really like this product. It's Crystal Energy by Patrick Flanagan. Game changer. This restructures the water. Love, love, love this. You get it on Amazon. I'm also going to be introducing next week something called a biodisc, and that's something you set your glass of water on the disc and it structures your water in the same way. So you just have to buy it once, and then that will structure your water and increase hydration a lot. So it's not, like I said, you have to have proper hydration in order to have healthy bowel movements and detox your body and be healthy in general. It's the basic foundation of health, and many people aren't getting it right. And there's lots of things you can do to improve it, even if you are drinking perfectly filtered water or drinking spring water. So also to help increase, going poop twice a day, you also can typically take ox bile. So ox bile supplements are really, really helpful to aid fat digestion. If you aren't making enough bile, you typically won't have soft enough stool. Your stool can be kind of hard and you can feel constipated. So taking something like the product we use with clients is called GB3 by Endomet. There's lots of great enzyme products that also have ox bile in them. There's also now super digest enzymes. I kind of feel like I don't like the binder that's used to bind that pill together. I have a feeling people with compromised digestion won't break that supplement down very well. But I really like the GB3 by Endomet. And so usually that will get people going to the bathroom, just taking an ox bile type supplement. And also if you're, all else fails, you're doing everything, you can also take something like magnesium citrate. That will get you going. Ascorbic acid powder, which is not my favorite because it causes issues with copper and iron and zinc metabolism, but sometimes that will is one way to go to the bathroom if you're just desperate for something. But I prefer the magnesium citrate. You can also use magnesium 07, which is Global Healing Center's. It's called oxy powder. So that's a great way, but that, really works really well. So you have to be near a toilet after you take that one. I'm going to be coming out with a colon cleanse very soon, probably within the next 6 months, not right away, but I'll be coming up with something very, very soon that's going to help you guys in constipation, because it's a really big problem and it's a really big impediment to detoxification. So that's coming soon. And so Shelly Sharp, thanks so much for joining us. Excited to find out about this awesome information you have for us. So if you missed any part of the lecture, you guys can always watch the video on YouTube. We post all these Facebook Lives on YouTube. If you subscribe to our newsletter, then you will also get a replay link in our Thursday newsletter every week. So subscribe to our newsletter. So moderator Casey, can you also put a link for everyone to subscribe to our newsletter if they're not already? That would be awesome. You can go anywhere on myersdetox.com and you'll see a little link to subscribe to our newsletter or get any of our free PDFs, and you'll start getting it. And also, if you missed any part of the lecture, when I'm done, Facebook will repost the video and you can watch it over from the beginning. So Marcia Selig, so I did an oats test and I have mold, fungus, candida, high oxalates. Seems like I can't eat anything if I want to fix it. Any recommendations? And if I don't fix, what will this lead to? I feel fine now, but I'm concerned about long-term consequences. So here's the thing. I love the oats test. It's an organic acids test because it can give you a lot of information about acids that your gut bacteria are secreting, and that gives us info about that you might have mold, you might have fungus, candida, and the oxalates that you mentioned. So the issue with these types of infections, these types of opportunistic infections, is that they cause gut dysbiosis. So they crowd out good bacteria, which over time can lead to poor immune system functioning, and all of these bacteria and oxalates can lead to leaky gut. The oxalates are like these little barbs, and they can go onto your gut wall and create little holes and perforations, which then over time, if you have heavy metals that impede energy production, you need a lot of energy to hold these tight gut junctions together. And as your ATP declines, you have the oxalates are making holes in your gut. Then you get these, large holes. Then you start absorbing more oxalates from your diet. Glyphosate also increases oxalate absorption that a lot of people get from eating non-organic food, and gluten. Wheat products are full of glyphosate. And so it's like you get this tumbleweed that just keeps growing and growing and growing. So you want to address this stuff now before you have symptoms. You want to be proactive before you get a diagnosis. And so that's what I urge people to do. And it's not sexy. Like, prevention is not very sexy. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But if you have compelling evidence from a functional medical test that you have some of these markers for these infections, there's a lot of things that you can do now, like exactly what I talked about in this Facebook Live, doing all these things to improve your immune system functioning, working on your diet. We'll start thinking about detoxing heavy metals, and all this stuff can slowly but surely begin to resolve itself. There's lots of info on the internet on oxalates and dissolving oxalates in your body, and beyond the scope of this Facebook Live, but lots of info out there. There's an oxalate group on Yahoo that has a lot of supplements and downloads, free PDFs, free information on oxalates and what to do about those. But yeah, you want to start working on that now before you have more and more problems down the line. So Karen, I'm here to listen to your webinar. Yes, thanks for joining us. So if you missed any part of this will start over when I'm done. So please, please, please send me your questions. I'm going to be answering them today. So, Sahara Ismail, thanks so much for joining us. So what are your thoughts on juicing? So I love juicing. Juicing is a big part of my Myers Detox Protocol course. And we're doing our summer detox camp right now to encourage you guys to use the rest of the summer to join my 30-day challenge and do the juicing that is recommended on a daily basis on the Myers Detox Protocol. Because during the summer, I think it's great to detox, because I know so many people are going on vacation in August, like I am. I am going to be going to Italy and the Amalfi Coast and Rome and the Greek islands, which I've always wanted to go to Greece. So I'm finally doing it, making that dream come true. And and I want to lose probably about 5 or 10 pounds before I go. So I'm actually in the middle of doing my own course right now, going over like the meal plan. It's a very low carbohydrate meal plan, doing juicing every day and doing all these components that you learn about in this course. So if you're going on vacation soon, it's a great time to start thinking about, some participants lose up to 12 pounds on average doing this 30-day challenge. So I encourage you guys to join me right now. Or if you're going on vacation soon, you can always join me when you guys get back. You can start it at any time if you like. So we talk about juicing in the 30-day challenge and the Myers Detox Protocol 30-day challenge. And juicing is so important, and not because the juice itself like detoxes you. It's more because it's so rich in minerals, and it has so many more minerals than you could sit down and eat at one time. And so, like, say if you have to make a glass of carrot juice, for instance, it just takes this huge 5-pound bag of carrots, like 2.5 pounds of carrots, which you cannot sit there and eat. And so all of that magnesium and calcium and all of those nutrients, you're drinking those, or if you drink a green juice, those minerals are going in your body and displacing metals out of your body. They push metals out of your body, and they also help to improve your body's functioning. They improve your body's ability to detox, which is great. So sometimes juice cleanses or fasts. Let's do a 3-day detox, and it's not, like I said, that juice detoxes you so much. I mean, it's good that many people do this detox and they're avoiding foods to which they're sensitive, and that helps them do a juice cleanse, for instance, so to speak. But just the juice itself is like just mineral rich. That's what's helping you detox, essentially. So I'm a big fan of that. Big fan of juicing. I don't advocate fruit juicing so much. It's fine on occasion, but it tends to be really high in sugar. I do add apple juice. I do juice apples because apples are high in malic acid, and that really helps to cleanse the liver. So green apples are great if you're really looking for super, super low sugar. But the green apples also make the green juice more palatable and less bitter, which some people are really, really sensitive to. But I usually use about a half an apple to a whole apple per glass of juice that I'm juicing. So big fan of juicing, and I do a green juice every single day. In fact, I have one right here that I'm drinking, and this one has some pineapple juice, which is great for the bromelain enzymes. And this one has some kale. It's got tons and tons of celery, because celery is really, really rich in minerals. And this one also has cilantro and lemon juice. So this is one of my favorite ones that I make at home. And in fact, the juice I recommend most people drink on a daily basis, not every single day, but most days, is a celery juice, 1 apple, cilantro for its detox effects, and some lemon or lime. And that's like a very simple juice. I also do other ones. I love to do a beet, ginger, lemon, and I'll do a little bit of apple or a carrot in that to give it a little bit of sweetness. So that's one of my favorite ones, and I tend to kind of rotate them. And I'll do other types of juices as well. But yeah, juicing is a huge, huge part of my health regime. And sometimes I'll do juices with some berries, but that gets a little bit expensive. I like to do some pineapple juice on occasion. And sometimes I grow sprouts. Sometimes I'll juice the sprouts as well. And really just because sometimes I'm growing too much and more than I can eat. So any ones that are about to go bad, I'll just juice those as well, and super healthy. And I'll find like really interesting things at the farmer's market. Like I'll find lettuces or foods or just Mizuna lettuce or just all kinds of strange things that I would normally never eat, or maybe I haven't. I don't eat these very often, and I'll grab all kinds of those types of vegetables and lettuces to juice those, so that I'm really getting a large profile of different types of nutrients into my diet. Because another big basis of health is variety, eating as many different types of food as you can get into your diet. That's a big, big secret. You do not want to be eating the same meals over and over and over, the same breakfast, the same dinner, which a lot of people are eating healthy food, but they're eating the same things over and over, day in and day out. You don't want to get stuck in that rut. So Teresa, so what happened to Candida RX? I ordered it, and then a few months later it was refunded. Yeah, so we sent an email about that. We did send an email. You might have gotten the refund email from our store, and then maybe you didn't catch the information about why we did a refund. I love Candida RX so much. I love Catalyst Foundation so much, but we just have had issues with the manufacturer from delivering it to us so that we can meet the demand, the large demand that we had with that supplement. And while I still take it, I mean, I took it a few times when I was on my trip to Maui, and I took it recently. I love that product, but we just have too many issues with the manufacturer delivering it to us in the quantity they promised and the date that they promise us. So we just can't carry products, even if they're the best product on the planet. We can't carry them if we can't get them reliably. So you can continue to get that product on plantcellnutritionals.com and mirrorcore.com. Mirrorcore.com, they sell Catalyst Foundation as Mirror EPF. So if you want to continue using it, that's where you can get it. And so next question. So Marianne McDonald, thanks so much for joining me. Thanks for all your podcasts. I've learned so much from you. Yes, it's my pleasure. I love what I do. I love doing these Facebook Lives. I love educating people on the power of detoxification and how it can truly transform your life. So it's really my pleasure. I wake up, I love what I do every day. I wake up super early and I'm so excited. I take my shower and I can't wait to get to my desk to help you guys and educate you guys more about detoxification and just health in general. And so let's see. Next question here. So Kelly Foss, thanks so much for joining us. What are your thoughts on colonics or hydrotherapy versus enemas? I was told initially 1 colonic per week for 3 to 6 weeks is great for starting a detox. So I'll tell you the difference there. So I think water colon hydrotherapy is great. And I think it's probably largely ineffective unless you're doing something like taking psyllium husks or taking some sort of fiber prior to going into doing the colon hydrotherapy kind of process, and where they just kind of fill you up with water and evacuate you and fill you up with water and evacuate you. There's some issues with that because number one, it's not terribly good for your health just to remove fecal tissue. I mean, it can be great if you are extremely constipated, you can't go to the bathroom. This happens with some people they're on pain medications or having a lot of different surgeries and they're just not eliminating. But some people, they go to get colonics and they come back with intestinal infections. I've known several people that have gotten intestinal infections from, poorly maintained or sterilized equipment, but that's very, very, very small percentage. But I really prefer just doing coffee enemas at home because it's not the colon evacuation that we're really looking for in detoxification. What we're looking for in doing a coffee enema is that caffeine traveling from that you insert into your colon, that caffeine traveling by your portal vein to your liver, then elicits a stress or hormetic effect that dilates the capillaries in your liver and then causes the liver to kind of purge the toxins that it's containing, and then it can get to the next batch. So it speeds up the detox process, the liver detoxification process. So that's just a very simplistic explanation. But it's the caffeine that's the magic ingredient in there. And the reason we're doing it is to elicit a response in the liver. It's not to clean out the colon. That's a byproduct of doing a coffee enema. So I think coffee enemas are far, far, far superior than doing a water enema, which is essentially what colon hydrotherapy is. I've done them before. I did a series of 10 colonics and I really like them because I just felt like my stomach was flatter and I felt a little bit better after I did a colon hydrotherapy session, but they're very expensive comparatively. And for the price of 1 colon hydrotherapy, you can just get yourself a bucket and some coffee, and that'll last you for months and months and months. So I just think that coffee enemas are less expensive, they're easier to do, less time consuming, and far more effective. So don't waste your time and money. So Maureen Abston, so chemicals and environment and fake food and malnutrition are good bets pharmacy and vaccines is bad as Monsanto. Yes, I agree with you. Yeah, these are all huge contributing factors to poor immune system functioning. So like you mentioned, chemicals in our environment, bad food, processed food. It's amazing how some people just survive on packaged food, processed food, and fast food. I mean, I've dated those people, people that just they refuse to eat anything except for fast food. You know who these people are? Like, how they must just feel so awful for most of the time. But yeah, malnutrition are terrible also for people. Malnutrition is caused by these terrible diets, is what I mean. And then big pharma, over medicating people. There's millions of people on 5 or more medications. You know who these people are. They're your family members, your aunts and your uncles, just doing what their doctor says in the hopes of feeling better. But we know that, as you guys are a very educated group of people that are listening here, that is not the way. The way you don't get sick from an absence of medication. And medications have their place, absolutely. But when it comes to immune system functioning, when it comes to improving your immune system functioning, there's really nothing in the conventional medical space that it helps with that. I mean, it really just comes down to good lifestyle habits and removing things that interfere in your immune system functioning, like detoxing heavy metals and removing chemicals and stopping the influx of those into your body by cleaning up your home environment, cleaning up the products you use and put on and in your body, cleaning up your diet. But big pharma does have its place, and we do need medications. Sometimes people get severe infections that no matter how healthy you are, you thank God for modern medicine. We need that, but that's not the only thing that we need. And many people, it's the only thing that they turn to. It's the only thing they know. Many times doctors are treated like deities, like they're the only people that some people listen to in regards to their healthcare, and they pay dearly for that mistake. And so just unfortunate. But so that's why I do what I do. I want to help educate people about the other side of the coin, all these other things that you need to be doing to improve your health that you're not getting from your conventional doctor. And so Amy Nauka, thanks so much for joining us. So thoughts on bone broth? Yeah, I love bone broth. I mean, studies do show that people that get ill, if they eat chicken broth, they get better faster, they're sick less time, and they just recover better. And so bone broth is so amazing, has so many health benefits. So I'm a big advocate of bone broth, and I make my own bone broth at home. I have an amazing recipe on how to make your own homemade chicken broth. It's absolutely delicious, because there's lots of companies out there that sell pre-made bone broth. I think most of them taste terrible. I want some flavor, okay, in my bone broth. So I use, organic pastured chicken in my bone broth. I use parsley. I use dill. I use tons of celery. I use, let's see, so parsley, dill, and the other one is, I can't remember it. So parsley, dill, and thyme is what I use. So I pick those out of my herb garden. I put tons of sea salt, tons of peppercorns also, and I use 1 or 2 whole onions, 1 or 2 whole heads of garlic, cut them in half, put them in there. And I also put carrots and celery, and I just boil that all down for 12 to 24 hours, and it's just so delicious. So good. So that bone broth is incredibly nutritious. And I'll make a big batch and put a bunch of little containers in my freezer. And then I'll use that to make rice. I'll use it to cook vegetables in. I'll use it to make quick soups out of. Kind of at the end of the week, I'll take any vegetables I haven't eaten and make either like a pasta out of them, or make a stir fry, or make a soup out of them, just to use whatever I have that didn't get eaten. And I use bone broth to do that. So bone broth is so healthy also. It's an essential component for immune system functioning, because it has lots of healthy fats. It has glucosamine chondroitin. It has collagen in it. It has all these things for like healthy bones and just things you're not going to get otherwise in your diet. So bone broth, there's bone broth in every single culture around the world. And a lot of people, they're just not eating enough soups. They're not eating enough bone broths in their diet. So very, very important component. There's a reason every culture in the planet eats broth on almost a daily basis. So there's a reason for that. And so next question, Susan Clemens. Hi, Wendy. So do you take other minerals or do you feel the healthy salt is enough? So no, I don't think the healthy salt is enough just by itself, because the healthy salt here has lots of trace minerals. And it's certainly, if you're going to take one product, this would be it. But this is a low sodium salt. So you probably do need a little bit of other sodium, like from salting your food, like when you're cooking, like just using a regular sea salt. Eileen Durfee, who sells this product, also has a Baja Gold salt. It's really, really nice. I really like it, that I'll use in cooking. And so that'll give you a little bit of extra sodium. There's other things you need to take in bulk that are kind of bulky minerals, like magnesium. You have to take about 5 times your body weight in milligrams per day. So 5 times, say 100 pounds, you need 500 milligrams a day of magnesium. And so that you're not going to get that in this. So you need to take extra magnesium. Most people need to take about 30, maybe 30, 40 milligrams of zinc per day. Some people need calcium, and some people just need selenium is really, really important. So these are kind of the main minerals that I give people in addition to the healthy salt. So it's not the end all be all, but it's going to solve the majority of your mineral deficiencies. And I love this too, because it's really rich in minerals. It's 25% minerals, where most other salts are 1% mineral or less. So, and those are fine for still cooking, because this is not really something you cook with. You can put it on your food. This is more like a supplement that you put in your water and juices, and that's what I do. So next question here. So Marianne McDonald. So I read your article on, cesium toxicity. I don't know what that is. Cadmium? Is it cesium or cadmium toxicity? So I haven't read your article on thallium toxicity. I don't have brain fog, but I have dizziness off and on. I started using your activated silica with Catalyst Foundation. I'm wondering if thallium can cause dizziness. Thank you. So yes, so there are certain metals that can cause dizziness. So thallium is one of them. Nickel is another one that causes dizziness as well, and mercury also. So there's a lot of different metals that can cause vertigo and dizziness. You can go on my article. I'll put it right here. It's the Guide to Sources and Symptoms of Toxic Metals. And so this is a great article to go to if you're having any symptoms. Go to this article. I just pasted the link. Press Command F so you can search the article and put in vertigo, and then all of the metals, all that word will be highlighted in the article, and then you can see the different metals that cause that symptom. So when I type in vertigo, arsenic comes up, like I said, and the next metal that comes up is lead also. And the next metal that comes up here is, I'm pretty sure thallium is on this list. So that gives you an idea, and nickel also, of course, like I mentioned. So that gives you a pretty good idea of like what symptoms that you're having can be caused by which metals. So I think it's really eye-opening for people to kind of do heavy metals testing and see what metals they have, and then correlate their symptoms to this kind of cheat sheet, which I'm constantly adding to as I'm doing researching. And it's a really, really handy tool that I encourage people to use on a regular basis so that you can figure out, you know, what possible underlying root causes do your symptoms have, and that can give you a plan to then detox them, because we have articles on every single metal. We're getting more and more articles, like we're doing one on gadolinium, and we have a couple other, you know, gaps to fill in that respect for all the different metals, but we'll also have all the supplements that each metal is detoxed with. And so that can be a really helpful resource as well. But, ultimately, you can do all this stuff on your own. You can figure all this stuff out on your own, going to Facebook groups and asking questions. But what I find is the DIY detox doesn't always work out as planned, because people, I think, don't always realize how long it takes to detox. They don't always realize when a supplement isn't working for them and they need to try something else. They don't always know if they're having detox symptoms or they need to maybe stop doing detox. And a lot of people, especially if they're very ill, have compromised genetic detox pathways, and detox is going to be a lot more challenging for those people. So there can be a lot of roadblocks, a lot of pitfalls that people can have, which can make it really, really helpful to work with a trained practitioner like myself or our Myers Detox Protocol coaches that have been personally trained and overseen by me and our medical director, Dr. Bruce Jones. So that can be really, really important. When you're detoxing, you kind of just don't feel like you're doing it right, and you're just, don't really feel confident in going it alone, or you have multiple health diagnoses, you need to be overseen by a practitioner. And so that's why we have our Myers Detox Protocol with a practitioner to help you guys detox and navigate, hold your hand through that whole detox process. And so any one of those metals, like I said, Marianne, could cause your dizziness or vertigo. But sometimes you just people have bouts of dizziness. People can have things break off inside their ear canal that can promote dizziness. There's not a lot you can do about that. That's usually someone that's going to have chronic vertigo, chronic dizziness. Sometimes you can have just physically pieces that break off inside the ear canals, that the tubules that house the liquid that helps us to balance. I forget exactly what the tube is called, in our inner ear canal. And so that can contribute to dizziness. But like I said, metals also can be a contributing factor. So let's see. So Marianne, so that was supposed to read, I read your article on thallium toxicity. Yes, love spell check so much. So yeah, thallium is a big contributing factor to fatigue. And thallium is one of those things that's naturally occurring in petroleum deposits. So we breathe in thallium from car exhaust and through manufacturing, and just contributes to a lot of different health issues. And a lot of people have it, don't realize it. So my activated silica was designed to detox thallium. And so that's really the most effective supplement to get rid of thallium. So Kelly Foss, so many protocols for weight loss. Are there any different protocols for maintenance? I'm not looking for weight loss. So yeah, so on the Myers Detox Protocol, people do lose weight on the program, but that's not everyone does. I mean, that's just one of the big benefits of it if you follow it really closely, because there's a lot of different metals that interfere, a lot of different metals that kind of interfere in your metabolism or cause resistant weight loss. But there's so many other different benefits to heavy metal detoxification. And if you look at this article, it's my guide to sources and symptoms of toxic metals. You can see dozens of metals and all the different sources where we get these metals and all the different symptoms they cause. So these metals affect every different organ system in the body. They can cause every imaginable symptom, health condition, autoimmune issues, immunity issues, cancers, reduced lung function, blood sugar control issues, pancreatic function, liver functioning, brain functioning. Just you name it, a metal can either outright cause or exacerbate any type of symptom or health condition. So it's not just about weight loss. We do talk about weight loss on the link that I sent for the Myers Detox Protocol course, but that's just one very small side effect. And if you're not looking for weight loss, you can just eat more carbohydrates on the diet plan that we've laid out, and problem solved. So Kelly, you said lemon, apple, cucumber, carrot, beet, ginger, cilantro. Yes, I love all these different juices, and I use different combinations of those. And so Teresa, thanks for all the info. As always, such an amazing resource. Have a wonderful vacation. Love the cameo appearance from your daughter. Yeah, she's trying to get me to take her to the park, and she couldn't find my fiance to take her. I think he's hiding or something. So she's trying to come in here to get me to take her, which I'm going to do as soon as I'm done talking to you guys. Take her to the park. So Sharon Hummingbird, I appreciate you so much. Thanks for joining me, and thanks for tuning in and supporting me and helping me to kind of get the word out to everyone about the importance of detoxification. So Marilyn George, thanks, Wendy. Timely and practical info. My daughter is traveling to Ghana for college abroad study program in late July. Any healthy travel suggestions? Yes. So I've been to Africa before, and they usually require you to do different vaccinations, like yellow fever is really, really common. They have you take malaria pills, which can definitely cause, a lot of different health issues. So, I just be very cautious about vaccinations of any kind. Some of them are required to get into the countries. Like yellow fever, I know is required to go to Kenya, but I'm not really up to date on which vaccines and what countries are required. But I just only do the amount required. That if she has to do those, and I wouldn't do any more beyond that, because I think they're largely ineffective, and vaccines definitely negatively impact immune system functioning long term. They cause chronic immune system dysregulation. So really a huge, huge problem that I won't go into too much on this Facebook Live, but really vaccines just cause a lot of severe symptoms and health issues and side effects. So I'm just not a fan at all. So guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I've answered all of your guys' questions, and please join me on my summer detox camp this summer to help to improve your immunity, strengthen your body's immunity, and prevent opportunistic infections like Candida and parasites and Lyme and crypto and this in pools right now. And just you need to strengthen your body by removing the roadblocks to immune system functioning. So it's just one of the many, many benefits of learning how to detox your body, which I teach you all of the essentials, all of the basic components, all the things that are shown in the research to work to detox your body in my Myers Detox Protocol course. So thanks for joining me, and thank you so much. Oh, so Danish said crypto was indeed a tough one. I invested $12,000 trying to cure it with no luck, no longer relying on gut instincts. Yeah, so just once you get some of these infections like Lyme and other ones, it's really, really difficult to get a handle on them. You've got to really do everything you can to strengthen your immune system so it can nip it in the bud as soon as you can contract some of these infections. So again, thanks for tuning in. And I will hopefully see you guys on my 30-day challenge for the Myers Detox Protocol. Talk to you soon.